Gulf on edge, massive naval drills by Iran, China, and Russia rattle the world. That headline flashed across screens worldwide this morning. News anchors spoke in urgent tones. Social media exploded with images of warships slicing through sunlit waters and fighter jets screaming overhead. The world's attention snapped to the narrow, strategic waters of the Persian Gulf. It was just after dawn when the first reports came in. Dozens of ships, bristling with missile launchers and radar domes, had gathered off the Iranian coast. Helicopters hovered above the decks. Sailors in crisp uniforms stood at attention. The air crackled with tension and the promise of power. Military analysts called it one of the largest joint naval exercises in the region's recent history. The message was clear. Three of the world's most powerful nations were flexing their muscles, united by common interests and a desire to challenge the status quo. As the sun rose higher, the scale of the operation became clear. The world watched, anxious and alert, as the Gulf became the stage for a new kind of drama, one with global consequences. The drills were not just a show of force, they were a symphony of military precision. Warships from all three countries moved in tight formation. Their hulls cut through the blue-green waters, leaving white wakes behind them. On the decks, anti-aircraft guns pointed skyward. Crews ran drills, loading missiles and preparing for simulated attacks. Above the ships, fighter jets roared in tight, coordinated patterns. They swooped low over the waves, then climbed sharply into the sky. Radar screens in command centers lit up with blips as aircraft and drones carried out mock dogfights. The exercise was designed to test every aspect of modern warfare: communication, coordination, and combat readiness. Inside the command centers, officers from Iran, China, and Russia worked side by side. They issued orders, tracked targets, and shared intelligence. The room hummed with tension and focus. Each nation brought its own technology and tactics, blending them into a single, formidable force. Civilians watched from the shorelines, some with pride, others with worry. The thunder of jet engines and the sight of foreign flags flying together sent a clear signal. This was more than a drill. It was a message to the world. Why are Iran, China, and Russia joining forces in the Gulf? The answer lies in shared interests and common rivals. Each country faces pressure from the United States and its allies. By working together, they aim to show strength and unity in the face of Western influence. Iran brings local knowledge and strategic position. China provides advanced technology and growing naval power. Russia adds experience and military expertise. Together, they form a coalition that can challenge any single power in the region. Their message is unmistakable: the balance of power is shifting. These drills are not just about military strength, they are about politics and prestige. Iran wants to prove it can defend its waters and stand up to sanctions. China seeks to protect its trade routes and investments. Russia wants to assert itself as a global player, not just in Europe but in the Middle East as well. For all three, the Gulf is a vital crossroads. By joining forces, they hope to reshape the rules and send a warning to anyone who might challenge their interests. The United States did not watch these moves in silence. Within hours of the first reports, the Pentagon announced it was sending more warships and aircraft to the region. The USS Roosevelt, a powerful aircraft carrier, steamed into the Gulf, flanked by destroyers and supply ships. Surveillance planes took to the skies, keeping a close eye on every maneuver. American officials spoke out quickly. "We will defend freedom of navigation and our allies in the region," said a State Department spokesperson. The U.S. Navy increased patrols, and fighter jets from bases in Qatar and Bahrain scrambled to monitor the exercises. The message was clear: the U.S. would not be sidelined. This show of force was not just for Iran, China, and Russia. It was also meant to reassure nervous allies, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Israel, that the U.S. remains committed to Gulf security. The risk of miscalculation was real. Both sides watched each other closely, ready to respond to any sign of aggression. As the drills continued, the world held its breath. The Gulf had become a chessboard, and every move carried the risk of escalation. Why does the world care so much about these naval drills? The answer is oil. The Persian Gulf is the heart of the world's energy supply. Every day, millions of barrels of oil pass through the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway that can easily be blocked or threatened. Any disruption here could send oil prices soaring and shake economies everywhere. Security experts warn that military tensions in the Gulf are never just local. A single incident could spark a global crisis, said Dr. Layla Hassan, a leading energy analyst. Insurance rates for shipping have already jumped. Companies worry about the safety of their crews and cargo. The drills are a reminder of how fragile peace in the Gulf can be. For countries that depend on Gulf oil like Japan, India, and many in Europe, these events are deeply unsettling. A conflict could disrupt supplies, damage economies, and even lead to shortages at gas stations far from the Gulf. The world's eyes are fixed on the region. Every military move is watched, analyzed, and debated. The stakes could not be higher. The Gulf's neighbors have reacted with a mix of fear, anger, and caution. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates called emergency meetings. Their leaders warned that any threat to shipping would be met with firm action. Israel too expressed concern, saying it would defend its interests if needed. Some countries, like Oman and Qatar, urged calm. They called for dialogue and restraint, worried that a clash could spill over into their own borders. Turkey, meanwhile, watched closely, seeing both risks and opportunities in the shifting alliances. Not all reactions were negative. Some regional powers saw the drills as a chance to balance Western power in the Gulf. They welcomed new investment and military ties with China and Russia. But most agreed, stability in the Gulf is fragile, and the risks of miscalculation are real. Diplomats worked overtime, reaching out to Washington, Moscow, and Beijing. The goal to keep tensions from boiling over and to protect the vital flow of oil and trade. As the naval drills wind down, the world is left with questions and worries. Will this show of force lead to new talks or to new confrontations? Can the US and its rivals find ways to share the Gulf's narrow waters? Or is a dangerous standoff just beginning? Experts warn that the Gulf will remain a flashpoint. The stakes are simply too high, said General Mark Davis, a retired US commander. The world depends on the oil that flows through these waters. Any conflict here would reach every corner of the globe, from Wall Street to small-town gas stations. For now, the warships are still, and the jets are silent, but the tension remains. The Gulf has become a symbol of the new global order, one where old alliances are tested and new ones are forged in the heat of competition. This is not just a story about ships and soldiers, it is a story about power, resources, and the future of the world's most vital region. The Gulf is on edge, and the world is watching, because what happens here will shape the lives of people everywhere.